Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the top 10 most dangerous countries to travel in 2023. This is a difficult list to put together, as there are many factors that can contribute to a country's safety or danger, such as political instability, crime rates, natural disasters, and disease. However, I've done my best to compile a list of countries that I believe pose the greatest risk to travelers. Mexico. Mexico is a beautiful and diverse country with a lot to offer visitors. However, it's also a country with a high crime rate, particularly in certain areas. Some of the most common crimes in Mexico include robbery, assault, and kidnapping. Travelers should be especially careful in large cities, such as Mexico City and Tijuana, and in tourist areas. It's also important to be aware of your surroundings and to avoid traveling alone at night. 9. Sudan. Sudan is a country in East Africa that has been plagued by conflict and instability for many years. As a result, it's one of the most dangerous countries in the world to travel to. There is a high risk of terrorism, kidnapping, and violence in many parts of the country. Travelers should also be aware of the risk of contracting diseases such as malaria and cholera. Afghanistan. Afghanistan is another country that has been ravaged by conflict for many years. It's one of the most dangerous countries in the world to travel to, and there is a high risk of terrorism, kidnapping, and violence throughout the country. Travelers should also be aware of the risk of contracting diseases such as typhoid and polio. Yemen. Yemen is a country in the Middle East that is currently in a state of civil conflict. It's one of the most dangerous countries in the world to travel to, and there is a high risk of terrorism, kidnapping, and violence throughout the country. Travelers should also be aware of the risk of contracting diseases such as cholera and diphtheria. 6. Syria. Syria is another country in the Middle East that is currently in a state of civil conflict. It's one of the most dangerous countries in the world to travel to, and there is a high risk of terrorism, kidnapping, and violence throughout the country. Travelers should also be aware of the risk of contracting diseases such as polio and tuberculosis. Russia. Russia is a country that has been in the news a lot lately due to its conflict in Ukraine. While Russia is not as dangerous as some of the other countries on this list, there are still some risks that travelers should be aware of. These risks include political instability, crime, and discrimination against LGBTQ people. 4. Ukraine. Ukraine is currently in a state of conflict with Russia, and it's one of the most dangerous countries in the world to travel to. There is a high risk of shelling, bombing, and other forms of violence throughout the country. Travelers should also be aware of the risk of contracting diseases such as hepatitis A and typhoid. 3. China. China is a country with a strict government and a poor human rights record. Travelers to China should be aware of the risk of surveillance and harassment by the government. They should also be careful about what they say and do, as they could be arrested for something as simple as criticizing the government. 2. North Korea. North Korea is one of the most isolated and repressive countries in the world. Travelers to North Korea are closely monitored by the government and are not allowed to travel freely around the country. There is also a risk of detention and torture for those who fall out of favor with the government. 1. Israel. Israel is a country in the Middle East that is currently in conflict with Palestine. As a result, there is a risk of terrorism and violence in some parts of the country. Travelers to Israel should be aware of the risks and should take precautions, such as avoiding large crowds and staying in tourist areas. Staying safe. If you're planning to travel to any of the countries on this list, it's important to take precautions to stay safe. Here are a few tips. Do your research before you go and be aware of the risks involved in traveling to the country. Register with your embassy or consulate so they can contact you in case of an emergency. Purchase travel insurance and make sure it covers the risks you'll be facing. Be aware of your surroundings and avoid traveling alone at night. Keep your valuables close to you and don't flash them around. Respectful of the local culture and customs. It's also important to note that this list is not exhaustive, and there are other countries that could be considered dangerous to travel to. It's always important to do your research and to be aware of the risks involved in traveling to any country. Traveling to any of the countries on this list comes with a certain degree of risk. However, if you take precautions and are aware of the dangers, you can minimize your risk and have a safe and enjoyable trip. Here are some additional tips for staying safe in dangerous countries. Dress conservatively and avoid wearing flashy clothing. A few basic phrases in the local language. Be careful about what you eat and drink. Avoid drinking alcohol in public. Be careful who you trust. Afraid to ask for help from locals or from your embassy or consulate. If you find yourself in a dangerous situation, it's important to stay calm and to think clearly. Try to avoid drawing attention to yourself and cooperate with any demands that are made of you. If you can, try to find a way to escape or to contact someone who can help you. I encourage you to do your research and to take all necessary precautions to stay safe.